What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Creative Process. We're processing art, faith, and culture through a creative lens. And I got Miggy Sanchez, bro, in the studio at Nate Gunn Studios, man. So shout out to Nate Gunn, but shout out to Miggy. What's up, my guy?
What's up, my dude?
Bro, I'm excited about this, man.
Word.
Been a fan of what you're doing, bro, for a long time. Want to honor you, man.
Likewise, man. Likewise,
bro. You just you are. When people are skilled at what they do, like skilled at what they do, and you just show authentic love of Jesus, man, and what you're doing. So I love that, bro. And the fact that you're here from San Antonio, I'm always like rooting for local. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it. Even though you've done things far beyond San Antonio, and we'll get into all of that, but yeah, man, you were at our festival last year.
Rice Fest. It was dope.
Come on.
Mad dope, man. We doing it again, right? We're running it back?
We're running back.
Let's do it.
Back,
that was so cool, dude.
So, man, I want people to get a chance to know you, who you are, man. So tell me a little bit about your growing up and in short, like your come to Jesus moment, man.
Word, man. My name is Miggy. Obviously, you said my name earlier. Dude, family man, married, beautiful wife, 2 kids, 18 and 16, boy and girl. Man, didn't grow up in church, did music all my life pretty much. My pops was a musician, so I was always around it. We didn't do the church thing, so it was never a mandatory thing for us. I knew nothing about God when I came to Jesus. I just know that when the encounter I had, it was so real, and so it's like, that was my come to moment with Jesus. Was like, I was on tour with a band that I thought was gonna make it. I've always been on that grind, like trying to. The music was the only thing I was good at least, until you get to come to Christ, you realize, like, oh, I got more gifts. And so I was just always on that grind, like I gotta make it. And I had kids young, so the pressure's on even more. I gotta make it. And so in the midst of that grind, man, I had an encounter with Jesus in Jacksonville, Florida. Again, I'm on tour with another band I was playing with, and dude, it just rocked me to my core, man. Like I said, I know, like people say this all the time, but like hearing the audible voice of God is like it's rare. Yeah. But when it happened, bro, again, I didn't grow up in church, but whatever spoke in that moment, like it froze me, and it was so real, dude. And so for the first time ever, I prayed. And probably not ever, but like, in my adult life, I'm like, I was like, God, I'm just saying stuff. And dude, he said, go home. That was it. But he said it, and I always describe it this way, man. I'll die saying this. It's like, it sounded like soft thunder. Like it was thunderous in its approach, and it hit me like my bones shook. Yeah. But it was intimate, and like it was just me. It was so soft. It was weird. But yeah, man. So that was my encounter with Jesus. Fast forward. Ended up at, a church here locally in San Antonio, and just, dude, me and my wife, like, head over heels for Jesus, bro. Like, from the streets, dog. Like, you can't make this stuff up, man. I mean, I guess you can, but it's like, dude, that was my come up, and so I knew nothing about God, and then went straight headfirst into fall in love with Jesus, and then a part of church staff, and I'm leading worship, all this crazy stuff, just a whole nother life, you know what I'm saying? So that's been my life, man.
Bro. Who are some of your like your musical influences like growing up?
Bro, so I'm an R&B kid, bro. So, like, so I grew up like hip hop.
I can tell right off the bat, just looking at you, R&B. No,
So like, I grew up on in the hood outside of Austin, Texas, and so it was like, dude, it was just like, it was either Usher or Boyz II Men or something, like it was like, that's just what I grew up with, and then Biggie and Tupac and all that stuff. And so those are the influences I had as a kid, My pops had a big influence. He was a rocker through and through, right? Okay. Like Joe Dirt says. And that was my pops. And so like rap was kind of like frowned upon in my house. Or it was like, you ain't doing that. Yeah. But I did that, So those are my influences as a kid. Obviously, as I got into the rock stuff, like, man, you get to be a teenager and the PODs and like the Seven Dust and all these, the Corn. And now it's funny because all those dudes are like homies now. God has opened so many doors for me that like we've gotten to build relationships. And but yeah, those are some of the influences I grew up on, man. I wanted to sing for Boyz II Men before I wanted to be a rocker. I promise you that. So
well, you know what? And I like listening to your music. Like I can hear some of that influence too. I can definitely hear the rap stuff in your music, but I can hear like the way that you're singing some of the some of the hooks
super
and
melodic.
everything, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely melodic, man. Okay, so you have like a really interesting story because you have your Christian band,
Word.
right? Relent. Killer, man. But you also travel with another band as well.
El Nino, yeah.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, man. So I mean, it kind of ties into me getting saved, obviously, but I gave my life to the Lord and I gave up music completely. Like I was just like, man, I'm gonna serve the church. I'm gonna grow in the Lord. And my wife and I did that, and we were just serving and learning and growing and studying, and for like 3 years, just hitting it hard, right? And so fast forward into our walk, 3 years. The Lord just begins to put music back on my heart, and I'm like on the worship team at the time, and doing worship. So that's actually how I met you. That you would come through and put on shows for the youth, and like that's when we met there. And so it was like I was already doing kind of music stuff, but I gave up my own music just to follow Jesus. That's all I wanted, and I didn't even miss it. I was cool, like I was cooling so hard at the church, and then this burden began to birth in me, bro. Where it was like, yo, like. I really enjoy evangelizing. I really enjoy telling people about Jesus and leading them to Christ. And then God began to stir my heart for music like that. So I started writing again. And yeah, I started Relent in like 2016 and was just like, yo, like it was just a heavy burden just to go and do it. And I did it. And that obedience opened so many doors, man. Like, and like straight up just God moments that I couldn't. I guess you could try to force your way through, but I couldn't. There's no way this could have happened without God. And so the ministry of Relent began seeing cool stuff happen. Fast forward to 2021, we opened up for El Nino. And mind you, Relent we weren't in like the church, like, clique. It was, we weren't playing church shows or, I mean, there were some in there, but most of our tours took place in bars and in venues, and just being a light in a dark place was kind of like always the goal. And so in the midst of that, we get to open up for El Nino in Austin. And El Nino's, again, you asked.
That's huge.
Well, yeah, one of those influences for me. Like, I grew up in that. It's probably one of the reasons I have dreads, because, like, I remember seeing them as a kid and, like, yo, Mexicans that have dreads too. Yo, I'm getting dreads. Turn to find out they're not Mexican, they're, like, Brazilian, or whatever. And so, like, it's just that was the vibe I grew up with, right? And so it was like, yo, like, to open for them was one thing, but to see what God did there was kind of scary at first. Like it was one of those things where it's like, I remember we're on tour at the time. I'm somewhere in Tennessee. I get a message on Facebook and someone was like, yo, Dave, who's the owner of the band, is like, wants to talk with you. And like, I'm like, oh, we about to chop up a tour, like something dope. Like, and we get a phone call and he gets my number. We talk and he's like, yeah, man, like we're looking for another member and like, we think you fit. And I was just like, hey, what? And I was, this is crazy, man. And so obviously, like, I don't know everything in the Lord, but I have enough knowledge in the Lord to be like, man, this is Satan dangling that thing. You know what I'm saying? He trying to get me. And I was like, I was rebuking it. My wife and I were praying. We were like, nah, man, there's no way it's that easy. You know what I'm saying? You're not getting us like that. It was because my heart was never to be famous, right? I wanted to be effective. And I had such a conviction for leading people to Jesus that's all I want to do. Even if that's outside of music. I just know God has music here for me now. So we prayed about it, bro. We on tour. We fasted on tour. Like we were just like, yo, if this is God, then it's God. If it's not, then we rebuke this thing all day. And had some conversations with some people in my life that at the time were like, I believe had wisdom for me. And I took the gig, not knowing what was gonna happen. I was just like, yo, I mean, we're creative people. We imagine stuff all the time. And so like, yo, man, I'm gonna lead thousands to God, bro. Like, and it was a slow journey, but ultimately it's been a fruitful one. I've been there over 5 years now, and I love the guys to death. Some of my best friends now are in those bands, and I've seen God move amazingly.
Come on,
just being a light in the industry, and just, oh, dude, I got stories for days about how God's goodness has come through me, me being there. So,
bro, I know just there's probably going to be some people who are being like, hear that and be like, nah, it was the devil, bro. Still,
it's still the devil.
So I mean, but I love the fact that you said you were talking to, some people who were giving you counsel.
Word, yeah.
What were those conversations like, man? Like, what did they say to you that was like, okay, this might be a
Yeah.
good decision? Yeah.
One of the ones that stuck out to me, Pastor Paul at the time was my mentor, and man, we had a conversation about something that was prophesied over my life when I first got saved.
Okay.
And I had forgot about this moment, like completely forgot about this moment. And can I tell the story how it went?
Go
This
for
is
it.
crazy.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
right. This is how I knew it was God. Like, because again, I already had said yes, and we're walking in, and I'm still walking in insecure. Like, man, did I make the right move? Like, I'm over here touring the world. Like, this is crazy, dude. Like, this is weird. And so, like, what do I do? You know, because everything by that point, like, you're so rewired for Jesus. Like, everything's filtered through ministry now.
Yeah.
Like, all my lenses are like ministry. How do I get people to just, what do I gotta do? And so it was like, now I'm in the middle of these bars with all these people and these famous dudes and all these people, and it's like, what am I doing? But I remember the conversation we had, and somehow the Lord just reminded me of a prophecy that the first church that I got saved at, that pastor spoke over me. And it, mind you, I'm like a year saved when this prophecy spoken over me. I didn't know what prophecy is. Like, I just know we're in a circle and there's grown men crying, like snot's coming out. I'm like, yo, what's good? People shaking. I'm like, this is my first time experiencing that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I hope he don't come to me. I hope he don't come to me. And he comes to me and he puts his hand on my head and he's like, man, the Lord just starts speaking to him. And he said that, man, you're going to write and sing songs that haven't been written before. He said, many will come to know me because of your songs. And then he said, I see thousands of people with their hands lifted because of what you're doing. I see you, the Lord's taking you to the ends of the earth, right? And then he ended the prayer with, and into me and I to you, right? And into me and I to you. And like, I'm weeping. I don't have the wisdom to know what was just said over my life, but I just know the Spirit of the Lord was there, and I was weeping, bro. I was like, what the heck is going on? And that thing stuck out to me, and into me and I to you. I was like, where do I know that? Like, I know that from somewhere, right? And so I'm bugging out in the lobby, like just trying to figure out what the heck just happened, right? And mind you, the night before this encounter happened, I had a dream that I was running through this huge arena, and I'm dodging zombies. Like, yo, what? Like, just straight up, it's weird.
Okay. Yeah.
And mind you, again, I'm a fresh baby Christian. Like, I don't know anything about dreams, about prophecies. Like, I just know Jesus died for me, and I'm convicted, and I'm living for Him. That's all I know at that point. And I know how to sing a couple of Hillsong songs, you know. And so I'm learning. I'm a baby, and so all this stuff. So I had the dream, bro. Finally, it hits me out of nowhere. Boom, and into me and I to you. Why did He say that, bro? I literally have it tattooed on my collarbone here. It says, and I to you. And it's a song that is called Zombie Eaters, right? And the song was put out in 2008, the year my son was born, which is the reason I got it, because the lyrics were so intimate. And into me and I to you. And the song was performed by El Nino. Yo, that's wild, right? Yo, and so I remember like the Lord like bringing that back, and I was like, boom, I'm supposed to be here. I was like, thank you, Lord. Like, I needed that confidence boost because I was so like, because you have people that are encouraging, that are like, yo, go get it. This is dope, whatever. Then you have people like you said that are like, yo, you just turned your back on the church. Like, you're going to hell. You're like, oh, dang, man. So I'm wrestling with these two things because I want to be obedient to the Lord most of all. And like I said, I wasn't trying to be famous. I'm still not trying to be famous. I want to be effective for the kingdom. That's it. And sometimes God gives you a platform for that, right? And so like, that's what happened. That's what those conversations were like. And I remember just the Lord bringing up moments that He had started years before even I got the phone call from him. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, dang, man, that's how. So yeah, it's crazy, bro. My life's insane, bro. I'm gonna write a book or something,
bro. I love that though, bro, because there's a lot of people, I think a lot of creatives too, who really do feel called to go into secular, into mainstream, I'll say. Right. And I remember when I first started getting challenged with that, because I'm a church kid. Like our stories are pretty opposite. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up in church and was that whole thing. And I started getting convicted about reaching people who were not in church, right? But me being in those environments wasn't like I just wasn't in that because I was in church all the time. And then I started like doing these concerts, you know what I'm saying? I think one of my first ones like an eye opener. It was like South by or something like that. You know, when I'm performing in these bars and stuff, and then I started getting invitations to go to places that were not in churches, or these really weird churches that were just like you're a cult. We knew you're a cult for sure. Like I started getting like these invitations, and I'm praying and I'm wrestling, and God's like, go. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's really interesting. But what's really cool about your story, and I want you to speak to this, is that you're in a band. You're not the lead of the band, right?
Word, yeah.
You are in a band, and so now you're having to navigate. Okay, we're conversations with some of these guys who I assume are not believers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so again, I feel like some people would look at that and be like, you know, pull out the scriptures. What fellowship does light have with darkness, and all of that, right? And so how do you wrestle with that? With that idea and exist in that space?
For sure. I think being in the world and of the world is like legit the thing that kind of nutshells it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yo, not everybody works at the church. And for me, I'm a musician, and now I have a paying job as a musician.
Yeah.
Like, really, I don't make no money. I want people tripping about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and now I have an actual professional paying job as a musician.
Yeah.
But here's my thing is like, like the scripture says, I do everything as if I'm doing it to the Lord, right? And so ask people, I worked at Papa John's for 10 years before that. You ask everybody I work with. We eventually talked about Jesus somehow, somewhere.
Yeah.
Papa John's ain't no Christian company.
Yeah.
So like, why weren't you flexing on me when I was at, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. But I get it in the sense of like people, it is a demonically filled evil industry, right?
Yeah.
And it's so much so that like, then why aren't we there? You know what I'm saying? I look at Hollywood, I'm like, yo, it's evil. Duh. Why aren't we there? Like, why aren't we being the light in those places? And I'm not saying that's everybody's call either. You know what I'm saying? I think people are quick to jump to it because they think like, oh, that's the noble thing to do. Put me in the darkest place, Lord. And then it's like, nah, bro, like just change your home first, you know? And for me, that's what it was. It was like, yo, I was so content with where I was. I believe that maybe that's why the Lord kind of inched me in a little bit to the industry. But like, dude, it's, I still wrestle with it a little bit, but again, if there wasn't fruit, I guess you can call me out all day, but I think, man, that there's fruit and the Lord is moving and I got people to back it up. I got, you know, whatever. So it's just like, dude, I treat it, it's my job. That's what I use to pay bills. It's how I feed my family. And it's like, I treat it as if it was the Lord's, and it is, you know, in a sense. So it's good. Like, bro, it's, you know, then we get to talking about, now you got to talk about the Christian side of the industry. And that's the one thing for me is like, there ain't no difference. Like now that I have my foot in this industry for years, that's like, oh, ain't no difference, man. Like there's not really is. I'm not saying everybody's completely evil in the Christian industry. Yeah. But the fact that you have to tie industry to a Christian label already kind of gives it like a worldly stamp, right? And it's like, well, you don't operate. You have to operate as the world does to be an industry. Yeah. You got to have hierarchies. You got to have money. It's all ran by that. And so it's like, there really isn't a difference, you know, but I think the Christian stigma and the church in America specifically is kind of blinded by that dogma of like music evil, stay in church walls, we're good. And it's like, what?
Yeah, bro. I think that there's a perception too of what the church calls secular, like just the secular industry as a whole, right? Yeah. I think the perception is that everybody who's in that has sold their soul to the devil somehow, and that's how they're getting ahead. But like, just in my experience, these guys, you know, I've met, you know, secular rappers and musicians and all that, and they're just people, bro. Word. Like they're just people, and they're singing about, you know, well, if it's honest art, they're singing about their realities, right? You know what I'm saying? And at the very least, they're singing about how they view the world. Yeah. Right. And I don't like. So for me, I'm not like, bro, the devil's all in and through you, and I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess I don't see it like that. But I get it because I used to see it that way. I used to see the secular industry as like man, they all sold out to the devil. They're agents of the enemy and all that kind of stuff. And now that I meet people, I'm like, okay, you are a person who, like all of us, we just need Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Tell me some of your just tell me one story. You know what I'm saying, or how God's working.
Yeah. So my guitar player for Relent now is Sal, who actually plays for El Nino as well.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I think you met him
at the festival.
At the festival, I believe so. Yeah. And so everyone that knows Sal locally, I mean, he played in a band called Upon a Murray Body, huge band out of San Antonio. He started that band, and so Sal grew up like me in the scene, drinking, smoking, all of the above, right? Like we were in that together. Fast forward to me joining Nino, we knew each other, but we weren't close, right? He ended up being my tour buddy in the sense of like on days off we get hotels.
Yeah.
That's my bunk buddy. So we have our own room, and and so it just stayed like that for the band. He began to be the first, I don't want to say vessel, but the first person of God's creation that God really had me pouring into. And this dude is like, by the time I'm here with him, he's drinking all day, like to survive. If he doesn't drink, like he's probably gonna die, right?
Yeah.
And he's that bad with it. And so, man, either way, I'm praying for him, encouraging him, just building friendship, and being intentional, right? I think a lot of times when we come to minister to people, we do it for the sake of like gaining brownie points with God, but we miss the mark of like, yo, this is a human soul. This is be intentional with him. God was so intentional with us when he saved us. It was like, I guess you can come. He was like, no, dude, like, and so just the gospel encompasses, like, it's so intentional. So I just spent a couple of years with this dude, just being intentional, not knowing what the fruit was going to come of it, right? And so like, man, it's so dope. But like, this dude's in and out of rehab. We finally convinced him to go to rehab, and he's having seizures on tour, like close to death seizures. Where like there was one where we're walking up the steps to go play on stage, and we hear the loudest gunk, and this dude splits his head open. On the metal stairs that go up to the stage, right? Yeah. And he's having a seizure, and I'm just like praying for this dude. And I'm like, yo, man, Lord, save him. Like, save him. I remember taking him to the hospital. Doctors straight up like, if you don't stop drinking, you're going to die. And I'm like, dang, man. So we finally convinced him to get into rehab. He goes like 3 or 4 times to rehab, comes back, every time back on the wagon. It's like, dang, bro. Finally one night. And mind you, throughout these years, I'm having the hard conversations with him.
Yeah.
We're talking. He's calling me late at night. Yo, like, I'm going through this. I don't know what to do anymore. And I'm just there to listen. I'm not saying I always had the right words. I just knew, man, I've been praying for you, bro, and I believe God's going to do something. So if the Lord would give me something, I would give it to him. And then one night he calls me, bro, and he was like, I'm done. Like, I can't do this anymore. I'm so done. Like, I want to be freed from this, man. And I was in Dallas at the time at a rehearsal. And he's back here at home in San Antonio. He was just got out of rehab, and dude, I led him to the Lord. Like, I don't want to say the Lord's prayer, but I led him in a prayer that was like, hey man, this is it. Like, we're done. I'm done with it too. Like, I've been repeating myself for years. Like, bro, you need to give your life to Christ. He's the only one that's gonna fix this. You've tried rehab. Doctors already telling you you're gonna die. Jesus can fix this, bro. And bro, I remember the prayer that night, and I said, repeat after me, and we prayed this prayer. And man, the weep that came out of that guy, like, damn, bro. Like, I'll never forget the phone. Like, I hear the phone fall, and I could just hear him fall, bro, and like weeping to the Lord. And I was just like, dang, bro, you just knew in that moment the Lord was there in his room, and I was like, damn, bro, that was dope.
Yeah.
And so fast forward. He's now 2 years walking with the Lord, 2 years sober.
Come on, bro.
Liver's completely healed, bro. Like, he had, like not even like, no, like brand new. And like, bro, like one of my best friends, obviously still with me in Relent, and whew,
yeah,
man. But just to see what God did there in that moment, it put a fire in me to be like, if he can do it with me, he can do it with him. Like, he can do it with all these guys, right? Yeah. And that's my heart for people in general, not just the industry, but that just happens to be, that's where I'm at. But just to see God move that way, bro, I was like, dope, like, he can do anything. And so, dude, I mean, there's one guy you want to interview, it's him, bro. Like, and he could tell you for himself, like, he walks in so much conviction now. And so, but that was just years of like, just being, like I said, being intentional, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't always have the right things to say. I prayed. I would try to read with him. I would try to implement scripture in our life and disciplines. And dude, he, like I said, in and out of rehab, failed every time. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm trying. And the Lord just finally just intervened, and it was awesome, bro. So that's one of many stories, man. That's one of my favorites. So, you know, like I said, he's one of my best friends now, and I love him to death. And he's just a walking, talking miracle, bro. Straight up. So
yeah, and the thing is, man, like imagine if you weren't there, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like God planted you there for a reason. You know what I mean? And so I think the easiest thing to do is to be critical of people and be like, man, when you're in this spot and you're saying this and you're doing it, and it's like we really don't know. You know what I'm saying? We really don't know what the Lord is doing or how He's moving. And the Bible says, how can they hear without a preacher, right? Like, if there's nobody both saying and living the good news in front of these people, like, what do we expect to happen? You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you're there, man, it's just, it's a big deal.
Praise God, man. Straight up. That's on Him. But yeah, I mean, that's one of many stories, and it's just cool, dude. It's just, and like you said, they don't know, you know. And I had to learn that because I found myself getting offensive with people's comments towards me, and you know, stuff happens on social media, and people say stuff because they don't know. And so just having the grace and knowledge to be like, you know what, they don't know. I'm not gonna comment back. I'm not gonna say anything. They just don't know.
Are you, bro?
They don't know. They're not here for the warfare. At 1 a.m. I'm trying to sleep and freaking devil's choking me out. They don't know. They're not here for any of that. They just see the Instagram moments of me in front of thousands of people on stage, whatever. And I was like, oh, he sold out. I was like, nah, man. Bro, you tripping, man. Sell out.
Man, what are you working on, bro? You working on anything new?
Just got a lot of touring, man. We leave Saturday. I fly out to Jersey for rehearsals. Then we got Europe tour with Del Nino. I come back 2 days later. I started a tour with Relent in the States, and so just finishing out the year with festivals and touring. And then Relent just dropped a record called Suffer. It's a 5-song EP, and man, we're just moving, bro. So I love it.
We still got to get one, bro. We still got to get a record, man.
I'm down, man. Seriously, so down. I appreciate everything you do, man. Like I love your stuff, and so like, man, it'd be a blessing to be with you.
I feel like I'm a, you know, I do hip hop. I still got this rocker in me, bro. I've been doing that since like the very first EP I dropped. There was like a rock song on it, man. I'm like, dog. That's just me. But man. How can people find you, bro? All your stuff. Your socials.
I mean, Relent Official. I'm sorry, RelentMusic.com is the website that has all our tags for Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. You can find them all over social media too. Miggy Relent on Instagram and Facebook. And man, hit me up. I'm normal.
Bro, I appreciate your time, man. I love what God's doing through you, bro.
Praise Him, bro.
Gonna be a fan of that.
Amen.
And I'm excited that you're taking the gospel to places where people would normally go.
Praise God, man.
Grateful for you, bro.
Love you, homie. God bless you, man.